Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with Bet Victor as we look ahead to the pick of the action from Doncaster. Of course, all races live on Sky Sports Racing, as well as a valuable all-weather card at Kempton, being joined in the studio by Declan. Ricks, how are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you keeping?
Good, thank you. Yeah, all good. Happy now I'm here and out of the traffic and all, so I'm much happier now, much more zen. But we're without Sam again.
We are without Sam, yeah. 2-week holiday. They did have a good Cheltenham, didn't they?
Very much so, exactly. Still safariing away, so I'm glad to see that he's making the full most of it. And as you say, spending all of our lost cash during Cheltenham.
We do, but we very much have an able deputy for.
Very much so. Sky Sports Racing senior analyst Jamie Lynch is joining us, but from home. Jamie, how are you?
Hello to you, Kate, and to Declan. And yes, next week I'll be joining the trio in the studio as we look ahead to the Grand National. But today I'm joining with an eye on Doncaster tomorrow from home in York. And it's not the first time that a weekend winner triumvirate was broadcasting from York. Because if you remember last year during the Ebor Festival when Sam dialed in, and if you can't remember how much of a mess was Sam that morning after a big night out, then fortunately I'm able to remind you of exactly that night.
It's like he's back with us.
It'll be interesting to see if Jamie makes next week's show after this. He's just a sponsor.
Exactly. Oh, lest we never forget.
That actually is our. We have a Weekend Winners group chat, don't we? And that is that is the picture of it.
That is our WhatsApp picture behind it. Is that exact photo?
Poor El Boz is not even here to defend himself.
No, too right. But I'm glad that we've brought that back up again. And Jamie, you're looking a lot fresher than Sam was as well for that show. I love seeing people's Zoom background stack. I don't know about you, but I love getting an insight. Yeah, a voyeurism for me.
Thank God Jamie's not one of those kind of sanctimonious lads with a big book of library behind him and, oh, look how much I read, I'm so clever in class. Go on. Like I always say, never read the book, lads, just wait for the movie.
He's got, oh, there you go, nicely to the side. Just a nod to the intelligence and intellect around the way there. But Jamie, great to have you with us and thank you so much for joining us as well. Now, before we get stuck into the action, a reminder as ever to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, let's begin at Doncaster with the 225, the Cammidge Trophy Stakes. Listed contest, 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs. James's Delight is shading favouritism here, Dec, but we're 11 for the field.
You haven't even uttered those 4 lovely words, Kate. The flat is back. Really looking forward to it, yeah. Yeah, good little race to kick off the flat this season with the Cammidge, a field of 9. I think it'll be running a decent gallop. There's a couple of horses in here who like to go forward. Marshman won't be too far away. Witness Stand and Al Shabab Storm, especially dropping down in trip. But I don't know about you guys. I kind of had this race down as maybe kind of 6 furlong specialists versus 7 furlong horses. So you know you've got your Marshman, Spy Catchers, James Delight's all in the 6 furlong bracket, and then maybe Al Shabab Storm over 7. Witness Stand over 7 as well, and then there's a couple in there as others, but I just wanted to side with a full-blown sprinter given the trip, and I'm with James's Delight. I'm hoping Clive Cox and Russell Ryan can get us off to a flyer. No better man to train a sprinter than Clive Cox, and you know, as a 3-year-old turning 4 this season, you'd hope there's a little bit more to come. I do think the race is maybe a little bit more competitive than the market suggests. I wouldn't like to go too much shorter than 11-4 because even this day he did finish behind Spy Catcher, who does run here, but Spy Catcher has actually been overlooked by Clifford Lee, who's going to ride Marshman, despite him carrying a penalty. So it's a really intriguing race, but what I love about James Delight is his attitude. Look how game and tough he is in a battle here now. Spy Catcher does get the best of him in the end, but you know, you can see there the size difference between him. He's a much bigger, stronger sprinter. I'm hoping he'll have to develop from 3 to 4. Like I say, he's not a big, robust sort. I'm hoping that he'll get himself nice and fit at home. And if he's there at the end of the race, he will put his head down and battle. The only negative is he's drawn in 1. You're a little bit away from the pace. You like everything to be perfect over this kind of trip. But I like him, yeah. I'm hoping he'll go well.
He's a really tough, resolute type, isn't he? We've just been seeing that in the VT there. His attitude is second to none. So, Jamie, James's Delight for Dec to kick us off. You also going with your similar namesake?
Yeah, similar-ish namesake, and that's exactly the reason why, Kate. No, in all honesty.
Say no more.
letting daylight in upon magic here, we've all gone for James Delight, and it does feel like there's a right answer to this puzzle, at least beforehand. Of course, the odds still tell us that he's less likely to win than actually win it, but it does feel, looking at the race and looking at the circumstances, that he is the best fit for this race. It's a square peg in a square hole, whereas Declan outlined, for the rest, you just wonder whether it's compatibility against ability. They might have equal ability, but have they got the right compatibility as James's Delight? And we've already seen him being behind Spycatcher in France, and also he was behind Spycatcher in the Champions Sprint as well. But when you look at the position from which he came, I think it paints a positive picture, certainly more positive than midfield would suggest in a race of this nature. And the other point is that I looked at the data around this race, and James Delight was the fastest in the final furlong of not just any horse in this race, but any horse on Champions Day. Not to say that he would have won or gone close, but just to say that this didn't get anywhere near the bottom of him. So with all the rest in the race, in the Cammidge, Kate, I think it's a case of it's either a starting point or trying to make something happen with him. He's the best fit, the best horse with those conditions. And it's playing percentages, isn't it? The percentage chance of him running to 110 is very, very high. Will the rest be able to match that under these circumstances, either under alien conditions or with a penalty like Marshman?
Yeah, exactly, with Marshman carrying the penalty. Deg, you mentioned that as well, and Jamie's reiterated, but fascinating there in terms of the speed, though, that he was showing on Champions Day, that out of the whole entire card. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of got a little bit behind, doesn't he? He kind of can do that in his races, can't he? I remember when he won at York last year, he got a little bit behind, taking off his feet. And, you know, probably at that time as well, just Group 1 company at that stage of his career was probably a little bit too much for him, even though, you know, it's not the strongest division. So hoping he can take a step forward from 3 to 4.
All three of us with him then. And I'm glad that we look back at the Champions Stakes as well, because he did really well considering he was off of the pace. And of course, with the draws as well, the way that it transpired, that the low-drawn horses were not favoured. And we've just been looking at it there. He ran such a big race at 18 to 1 that day as well. So this is just a sound starting point for him.
Yeah.
And he's just a perfect fit for it. I agree with you, though. Stall 1 is not ideal by any means. However, the drop in grade, £3 from Marshman with that penalty. He won on his reappearance last year and on debut.
Yeah.
So he's proven he can go well fresh as well.
Clive Cox among the winners as well. I don't think he had any winners in January or February. A couple of horses run well, but I think they're operating at about 22% strike right now for March. So
yeah,
be interesting to see how he goes.
Like you say, not from a massive amount of runners, but even so, the strike rate is definitely there. Right, we're going to know our fate early, the three of us, because James's Delight we are all with then in the listed Cammidge Stakes. Right, do let us know in the comment section below who you fancy for our opener. As we move on to the 3 o'clock at Doncaster, the Doncaster Mile Stakes. This is a listed contest. 4-year odds and over a mile. So more listed action here. This race 12 months ago was won by no less than Charon. So Jamie, is there another champion miler lurking in here?
It would be a long stretch, wouldn't it? And a long shot, to say the least. There is a faint whiff of Charon coming from Dancing Gemini, just in the sense of when you think back to Charon as a 3-year-old, he was winless and continually banged his head against the Group 1 wall, much as Dancing Gemini did last year. And he's the most intriguing of all the runners, perhaps. But the top 3 in the betting, Kate, and the 3 heaviest hitters, they're all reappearing, and they're all reappearing with some question mark to answer one way or another. And therefore, I'm quite happy to have a swing against the top of the market in this and look for something a little bit more left field. And with left field, I'm thinking advantages. And Point Linus is a horse who is very good at playing up his advantages. It looks to me like he's going to have a positional advantage with his natural exuberance and front-running comfort. It looks like he's got a fitness advantage because he comes fresh from a really good run out in Qatar. And he's just a really good punisher, this horse. He's exactly the worst nightmare for the horse he's up against today, in the sense of if you put a foot wrong, he will drag it out of you with that powerful, mechanical, rhythmical front-running display. So I'm just thinking, Kate, that the prices would suggest that he's got about a 11 or 12% chance of winning this. But when you consider his fitness, his pace, his also potential front-running advantage, I think it should be a bit higher than that.
Oh, there you go. Now, we didn't know this because Jamie, not that we haven't invited him to the WhatsApp group, we're not in charge of that, to be fair.
That's why I wonder, how did he get that picture of Boswell?
Let me put that
impressive.
another way, Kate. I wasn't invited to the WhatsApp group.
Oh, you can't blame us, to be fair. We are only
we blame Ben. He's not here to defend himself.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's Ben. And he's claiming he's not the admin either. However, because you're not in the group, we had no idea what you were siding with today. And I am so buoyed the fact that Jamie's with Point Linus, because I am too.
Here we go.
For the each-way play in this one, because I thought that Liberty Lane was going to be the horse to beat in this, but at these prices, I'd much rather be with Point Linus in here. Sole start so far this season. Jamie was just saying there, he went to Doha, finished second in a local Group 2 in that, but it was just a solid effort on the face of it, on the back of a 7-month break as well. And when you look back at his win at Pontefract in July, that was a listed race over a mile. He was so impressive that day, winning by 5.5 lengths. So smart horse, fitness advantage. Second highest rated horse in here as well, 112, which is just £1 lower than the favourite Liberty Lane. So, yeah, he's a 6-year-old, but last year was his best yet. So who's to say he can't go on and improve again further on that. So, yeah, I'm hoping as well that Point Linus is going to really, as Jamie said there, sort of expose any frailties in the rivals, because there's no hiding place when he's in a race. And if you can just hold on even for a place, I'm happy out with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's he is key to the race, isn't he? In terms of pace, he's going to go forward. I did have a look at the forecast. It's not much of a wind now, but there is a southwest wind forecast on Saturday, which is a headwind at Doncaster. So I'm hoping that will count against him, because I'm taking you guys on. So I'm taking him. Now, to be fair, it's not a stiff headwind, so he should be fine. But it's just something to note. I was just much like the Cammidge. I thought this, like the Cammidge I built anyway as a race of 6 furlong horses versus 7. This kind of feels like a race where we've got a lot of milers against kind of 10 furlong horses. So, to the head of the market, the Sheikh Obeid pair, Botanical and Liberty Lane, it's probably fair to say those are probably horses better over maybe kind of 9, 10 furlongs, maybe even a little bit further looking at their pedigrees. Then you've got the likes of kind of pure milers like Dancing Gemini, Point Linus, maybe Witch Hunter just about falls into the miling bracket, although he's probably better over 7. But look, I think George Bowie's got 2 horses in here. He's got Botanical and he's got She Colombine. But I think She Colombine she's been overlooked by the market. And look, I know Billy Loughnane has chosen to ride Botanical, but obviously Botanical's owned by Sheikh Obeid, and it kind of strikes me that no matter what other horse was going to run in the race, I think to keep that he's an owner, you've got to keep happy, isn't he? Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the market goes against those 2. But you shouldn't forget that She Colombine actually ran in the French Guineas last year. She was considered good enough to go down the classic route. She had an awful draw that way. She was probably a little bit too keen. And then she ran a huge race in the Princess Margaret, I think, at it was Epsom. Making her challenge 2 out. She got badly squeezed out. She had no chance after that. Done incredibly well to rally and was just beaten a neck by Breege. Now, look, she's getting £5 from the most of these. She needs to have a really good day. Well, there's a couple in here who need to have an off day, but I think that could potentially happen given the trip. She's won first time out last season. George Bowie is going well, and if the first time tongue tie just kind of helps her settle a little bit more, I could see her running into the places. So I'd rather back her each way at a double figure price than a couple to the head of the market.
14 to 1 as well. Not
absolutely.
A bad price.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how the market goes with the two Bowie horses.
Yeah, very much so. So do keep an eye on that.
You've got to remember, Sheikh Obeid was in the army. You've got to keep that man happy or you lose all your horses.
To be fair, it's proven a fair few times. Yeah. That is correct. So, yeah, definitely be keeping him happy, to say the least. But a few different selections there, but a fascinating race all the same. Again, do let us know in the comment section below who you fancy. And also, while you're there, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification as well on YouTube so you never miss an episode of Weekend Winners. Right, on to the 3:35 now at Doncaster. The big one, the Lincoln Heritage Handicap, 4-year-olds and over. Of course, the big race up on Townmoor, and all races, just to remind you, are live on Sky Sports Racing. Now, last year's winner, Mr. Professor, is back to defend his crown, but he will be the first horse to be able to do so since this race has been moved to Doncaster. Thunder Run, though, heads the betting here, Jamie. So who'd you like?
Yeah, Thunder Run is the classic profile for a race like this, isn't it? A 4-year-old, well-bred, top yard, low mileage. But it just made me think that there's a horse sort of hidden in plain sight with that same profile, but with a trend against him. I don't know if Tracey's trends is still ongoing or whether it's been consigned to history, but you're exactly the sort of person why Whipcracker is not getting discussed, because the overarching trend with the Lincoln is that it's either first time out or back from Dubai. In the last 25 years, that's the only way you win a Lincoln. And the Wolverhampton race has almost become redundant. But when you look at that Wolverhampton race, Whipcracker, in a messy race, did so well to finish fourth, and all of the positives which sent him off 9-4 favourite for this are still in play. The winner here is Symbol of Light, a brilliant ride from Jason Watson, who grabbed a slowly run race by the scruff of the neck and controlled it thereafter. Whipcracker just gets in a mess and gets caught too far back. Finley Marsh wants to come this side, and it's just too little, too late. Still the second highest finishing percentage speed in the race, and a surface scratching race. The yard also, since this day, has gone from operating at 10% this year to 22%, including a double at Chelmsford on Thursday. So my whole approach with this is that this is exactly the sort of horse you look for in a Lincoln, sitting on some really strong form lines, including Bolster and JRB, and the Wolverhampton runs being held against him. But I think that he'd be almost a single-figure price if he was just coming here straight away. But actually, the Wolverhampton run might serve a purpose. So Whipcracker, I'm thinking and hoping, is a bit overpriced given the qualities that he brings to the table.
Oh, solid case made.
Yeah, and he was hammered in the betting that day, Jamie, wasn't he? I think when Dex came out, he was around 6-1, 13-2. And what did he go off in the end, 9-4?
Yeah, wow. 9-4, and so strong. And I think they really thought he was way ahead of the handicapper. So, as I said, all of the factors why he went off that price, they're still in play. They're still swimming around within him. And what's being held against him is finishing fourth. But hopefully, as we've outlined there was a reason, a legitimate excuse why he checked in only fourth there.
Definitely well reasoned and well outlined as well then. Also, I'm feeling the pressure on the Tracey's Trends front as well now, but I'll let you make your case.
Boswell's getting in the neck, Tracey's Trends is getting the pressure as well. I'm looking at what's coming my way now. Yeah.
Feeling the heat.
Feeling the heat.
Go on then, who do you fancy?
It's only professional standards, Declan, which is preventing me doing my world-famous Declan Ricks impression, which I normally do every Friday morning before you go there.
Don't let us stop you.
Talking gibberish, yeah. Yeah, look, as Jamie says, you really want that probably 4 or 5-year-old, don't you? Got that nice progressive profile. And look, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm with Thunder Run. 4-year-old this season. He's only had 6 career starts, and I'm hoping there's going to be a little bit more to come this year. I just can't get his run last season in the Balmoral out of my head. Like he did way too much in soft ground on the front end. You know, I think the winner's finishing speed percentage, I think, was 93%. You know, they clearly did way too much too soon. No cover, up that stiff track and soft ground, and he was a 3-year-old taking on his elders. But look how many horses he has in trouble here under Ryan Moore. And given the finishing speed percentage, I'm surprised he's still going as well as he is this deep in the race. I think if they can ration his speed a little bit better tomorrow on the front end, maybe get a lead into if there is a little bit of a headwind, I think he'll go well. Look, and again, you know, Carl Burke for me is just pound for pound one of the best trainers in Europe, maybe the world. I think we're going to really start seeing that now in the next few years because he's getting more support from Sheikh Obeid and whatnot. But, you know, that was a really good run. And not only that, he was back from 13-2 into 7-2 ahead of that race. You know, one of the most competitive, richest handicaps of the season. It was a huge run. We saw there he didn't run he ran there in the Steve Parkin colours. He's been bought by a new syndicate now because Steve Parkins looks like he's getting out of the game. Yeah. But he's been bought by a Scandinavian partnership, so I'm hoping he can finish first.
I was wondering, he's making a real deliberate ploy here.
Look at Jamie's
Lynchy behind us. Did you ever doubt him, Jamie? Did you ever doubt him to deliver?
Sorry, I'm just opening a window here, Kate, so that's that stench out from that terrible thing. But just before you get going on Thunder Run, or Thunder Runner as he must be called, I mean, Dex outlined the profile and the positives with him. The old GH in a H, the group horse in a handicap, it happens every now and then in the Lincoln, doesn't it? Adabe and Penitent. If there's one in here, it's definitely him, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, I agree with that, and that was one of the main reasons why I'm also with him as well.
Go on, Katie,
Switching
Tracey.
my allegiances between Lynch and now Deck in terms of these races. But again, we talk about Tracey's trends. I ran them against it. We haven't created a graphic because I basically didn't get it in quickly enough in time into the group then to create one. However, the trends did land me back on Thunder Run. And I'm always slightly kicking myself when my trends land me back on a favourite in a competitive handicap like this. But at the same time, I am further buoyed by that because they've landed me on a few seemingly no hopers according to the market over the years, and they've run accordingly. So when it actually lands me on a fancied horse, generally it's a positive then for me. As I say, he is heading the market here, but the 4-year-old angle that we've all just been discussing, also the official rating of 100, with 4 of the past 8 winners being rated 100, and all of the remainder have been there or thereabouts in terms of their rating. So Thunder Run already ticking some big boxes there, making his reappearance after we've just been seeing finishing 4th in the Balmoral. Personally, I loved watching that race back, but we're not going to go into that. But as you say, he was really well supported, 7-2 favourite in that, beating just 3 lengths as well in the process. So solid season last year. For all his best efforts, did come on a quicker surface. I know he's proven himself versatile, but he does seem to prefer that quicker ground. So what are you expecting?
Yeah, look, I love using excuses for when my selections lose, but I don't think I could use the ground. I use the ground, to be honest.
No.
If we probably should say it is officially good to soft in places there. And if I remember correctly, he is by Night of Thunder. So
they don't mind a bit.
They don't mind a little bit of juice, yeah. So
no,
yeah, it should be all right.
My favourite sire of all. Yeah, so hopefully then that won't count against.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the market leaders, the 2 Carl Burke horses, go in the market, because obviously Carl knows exactly where he stands with both of those, doesn't he?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it'll be interesting to see how the market goes with those 2.
And the fact he was
I just
on
make
race.
one point on that as well, Declan, the Carl Burke 2 horses, because Thunder Run and Native Warrior are drawn very, very close to each other in 19 and 21, right up towards its stand side. And actually, Native Warrior is one of the few horses in here you might think is going to make the running. It's a race that, for such a big field, is very thin in terms of pace identifiable hotspots. So perhaps it's a really good place to be, this stand side.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think historically this race suggests middle to high has been a good spot as well. I think who else is at pace in here? The Gosden horse, Orne, I think he likes to go forward. I think he's drawn low. And the Ed Bethel horse with the rude name, he also likes to go forward.
Yeah, I know, yes. I know, we all know exactly what you mean as well. But I'm reticent to say it for some reason. I don't know how it passed through the compliance. Anyway, fair play to them for making that through. Yeah, the fact Thunder Run was on race as a 2-year-old, you just imagine that he's still got plenty more to come. So we're in agreement there. Jamie's taken on a horse at a bigger price, but in terms of the Lincoln, it's going to be as competitive as ever, isn't it? So really, really looking forward to that one. Do let us know in the comment section below who you fancy for the Lincoln. Right, we're going to leave Doncaster there. We're going to switch to Kempton with the all-weather. Really valuable card down there. So we're each going to nominate a best bet from Kempton. Deck, which race were you looking at?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the 205 at Kempton. It is the Queen's Prize. And I like Cambo here of the Richard Hughes team. Now, you remember this time last year, Richard Hughes had his string in unbelievable order. They were going really well. They're going along nicely again here. And I just think this guy could, he could potentially be an all-weather specialist. Now, you don't like to pigeon kind of young horses too earlier in the career, but every time he's run on an artificial surface, he's run well. He's a course winner around Kempton, and this is him winning at the Racing League earlier in the season. He's in the Irish colours there to the far side of the track. Kevin Blake was giving it the old giddy up here as he was running on, but you can see here visually he's shaped like he would absolutely have no problem going further than 12 furlongs. You can see there in front he's a quite big back galloping horse. But then I had a look through his pedigree. He's got a pedigree that's all stamina as well, and not just stamina, but classy stamina. He's actually a half-brother to, remember the Joseph O'Brien hurdler, Sir Eric, who was killed in the Triumph Hurdle, and his dam, I think, is a full sister to the successful National Hunt stallion Mahler. So he's by Autad as well, and Autad is a stallion I love. Unfortunately, the market hates him because they just need a little bit of time. But give the Autads a bit of time, and I think he's one of the best value sires going there. And they've got great attitudes, and they improve from 3 to 4. everything about this horse, from an artificial surface to going up in trip, to being to improving over just kind of physically wise and pedigree wise, suggests he can go very close. And now a rating of 91 could really undersell him. And I think if he's ready to go close, he'll take a hell of a lot of a beating under William Buick, who's got a good Richard, or who's got a good record.
Does he now?
For the Richard Hughes team. So yeah, he will do for me. I like him. I think he's got a big chance.
Yeah, I'm going to the same race, and I'm so scared of your selection. And that's why, I mean, all of the extra pedigree points that you were just pointing to, again, you just still expect so much better to come from him. And looking back at him at the racing, I still remember that then, as you say, in Team Island. And I'm really worried about him at 3-1. However, the horse at the price, though, of 7-1 is Al Razine, which is the one I'm going to be backing in here. I'm going to have a bit of a saver on Cambu, admittedly, but Al Razine is going to be the play for me. Course and distance winner, who's been able to show his best form on Polytrack and to Peter over the winter, winning over this course and distance on his penultimate start. However, prior to that, he got back-to-back wins at Wolverhampton and Southwell, which we're looking at now on the 13th of December, winning by 4 lengths on the back of a £3 rise for his Wolverhampton win. Now, he was well positioned in this race with how it transpired, but it was interesting that Luke Morris was keen to get him rolling from the turn in, and then he was strongest at the finish. So you just thought he's going to be even better in a better run race. So he just looked like a stayer on the up, still only age 4 as well. So he still has plenty to come, you would have thought. For all he missed out on bringing up the 4-timer last time out, but I am happy to chance him to bounce back off the same mark as last time out as well. So I am really worried about yours with Cambu.
Yeah, I like Cambu. I think he'll go well. And
yeah.
We're going to have an early shout here for the Northumberland Plate. Cambu also wins the Northumberland Plate.
Oh, OK. So it goes out. Jamie's nodding in the background there. So I'm hoping that is agreement more so than anything else. But where were you looking at Kempton, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Rosebery, Kate, another famous old handicap, and Balmacara in specific, because Balmacara just looks like the sort of horse who normally wins a Rosebery. Again, it's the second season handicapper with a sense of unfinished business, which is very much like Balmacara. And the one reason that I'm really gravitating towards him is the thought that he's going to be really good on the all-weather. And that's just because of his nature. He's a strong, travelling, prominent racer. And that sort of archetype normally transfers really well to synthetics, and he gets on synthetics for the very first time. This is him winning at Doncaster at the start of last year, back-to-back wins at Doncaster. And you would think, looking at this and looking at his overall profile, that he's a mudder, because he glides through the mud and did so not once but twice at Donny. But this was just a start for him. He finished second to Persica as well as Sandown, and he went off only 8-1 for the Cambridgeshire at the end of last season. So Balmacara is a horse who came a long way in relatively little time, and I've just got a feeling and a hope that he's going to be really good on the all-weather. He's also going up in trip, which for a son of New Bay out of a 13-furlong winner, it might just suit him and plug into him really well. So I just think that when Eve Johnson-Horton and the team were sort of deciding initial plans for Balmacara, this race will have jumped off the page, given the intermediate distance, given the synthetics and trying that angle, and just given the sense of he's still got a lot of improvement in him as a 4-year-old. So Balmacara, he looks and smells and trends to me like a Rosebery winner.
Yeah, he definitely does, doesn't he? That knee lift on him, he does look a mudder though, but no reason why he shouldn't take to the weather.
He does. We actually we spoke to Eve Johnson-Horton before the start of the flat season last year, and this was the horse she gave us to follow, and how right she was, because he did nothing but progressed all throughout the year. And I actually had a few quid on him in the Cambridgeshire as well. Now, he didn't fire on the day, but yeah, he's a horse you can definitely see kind of being better again this year, Jamie, and just the way he moves, you can see that surface helping him as well.
Yeah, exactly. So loads to look forward to then with Balmacara. Best of luck to you in the Rosebery Handicap, Jamie, as well. But they are our bets nominated then for Kempton. Again, do let us know in the comment section below who you fancy across any of the races at Kempton. Right, Jamie, you say where you are. Dec and I are going to head over to the Sky Pad to give you our best bets of the weekend. Right, it's crunch time. Our best bets of the weekend. Deck, you're up first.
Yeah, we've already discussed the nap and the next best. The nap is going to be Cambo in the 205 at Kempton tomorrow. Just a horse I think could prove ideal on an artificial surface. Could be a bit of a specialist, to be honest. He's bred to go up and trip. He's bred to be better, and everything about his pedigree suggests he should improve from 3 to 4. So he will do for me. The next best is going to be James Delight in the Cammidge. No better man to train a sprinter than Carl Cox, the DJ. Clive Cox.
If they manage to combine Clive Cox and Carl Berg, we'll just have a super train.
That would be unbelievable. So, yeah, Clive Cox, no better man with a sprinter than him. The only worry is the draw in 1, but if Ross O'Ryan can get around that, I think he will take a fair bit of beating. And then the long shot is actually going to go in the Lincoln. I think now, like Jamie, if you like Whip Cracker, you've also got to like Too Tempting. He was a massive price. He ran a good race in the trial, and I just think the race could tee up nicely for him. I would have liked him to be drawn a little bit higher, but he's got plenty of pace for a mile, and I don't think it'd be an end-to-end gallop. So if Rob Hornby can get him into a nice position with plenty of cover and let him travel into the race, I think he will outrun a massive price.
OK, good 3 bets then. I am scared about your nap. But I like your next best bet, but I'm not going to give away which I've got James's Delight in my order of best bets, because Jamie, I'm going to let you go first for your own best bets.
Thanks, Kate. Yeah, we've already discussed the long shot and the next best. The long shot Whip Cracker in the Lincoln, in the hope and expectation that Wolverhampton run just fuels a few people into thinking that he is not the second coming, as I hope he is as a 4-year-old. James's Delight, it's about his ability and his compatibility with this race. He just looks the best fit. And then the nap comes in the 5 o'clock at Kempton, and it's Cadgetan. One of the highlights of this winter has been the resurgence of Mondamedge. Brilliant to see him at his age return to the full force that he once was. But there was one day in Newcastle before Christmas where Cadgetan did for him and smashed him up by 5 lengths. And I just thought it was really unusual. Since that day, I've been keeping an eye on him in the ATR tracker. But his 2 runs since, traffic, trouble, race flow, draw, everything's gone wrong. Tomorrow at Kempton, I think he's got the right draw. I think he's got the right race flow. And if he's about 5 to 1, I think that's a really good bet. Cadgetan for Jack Shannon, who's still going gangbusters.
Yeah, very much so. Cadgetan throwing us a bit of a curveball there. I wasn't expecting that by any means.
We'll have to add him to the WhatsApp group, aren't we?
Apparently so. If only someone could take responsibility for the WhatsApp group, then we will get said person to add Jamie in there. But any Mondamedge form lines, I just love. Like you said, how can you not love that horse and anything that follows him in or beats him as well?
Cracker.
Yeah, absolute cracker. Right, Jamie, thank you so much then for that. Now, my own best bets, my nap, not to give it away earlier on, it's going to be James's Delight, who I'm so buoyed by that the 3 of us are all in agreement on. But James's Delight as the 11 to 4 shot in the Cammidge Trophy Stakes on the drop in grade, 2 listed company after running well in the Group 1 British Champion Stakes last time out. A perfect starting point for him. Not so keen on Stall 1, but he is a class act, getting £3 from Marshman, who has been on the go with that fitness edge, but James's Delight won on his reappearance last year and on debut, so he's proven to go well fresh. Now, Promethean, I really like at 9 to 1 in the 150 at Doncaster, which is the Spring Mile Handicap. Again, the trends I ran against this race, and the horse who came out on top was Promethean on his return from 154 days off the track for David Manussier and jockey Enzo Cruble. Now, if you don't know Enzo Cruble, he is claiming £3, a name you may not have heard too much, but he does now appear to be based with David Manussier. He's not. He has ridden for him this year and not in France. However, he's got plenty of experience to his name. 16 winners in 2024 in France, 24 in 2023 in France. So he knows what he's doing, hence why he's claiming just the £3 now. But Promethean, first time hood, first time gelding. Hopefully that will all just keep him calm in the preliminaries, because that's the key to the horse. And Apiarist at 16 to 1 in the Lincoln, the second most trends ticking boxes horse to go out in the Lincoln as well. So hoping that that will come to the fore. Last time out winners have a solid record in the Lincoln. That's exactly what Appius has as well. So that's why behind Thunderon, who is the main selection at 16 to 1, I couldn't resist him. He's won 3 of his last 5, and interesting on the step up in trip from the 7 furlongs, which he did look to relish last time out. But I thought he was just going to go to the all-weather finals day. So I just thought it was interesting that they wanted to cite the Lincoln as well. Why would you not, to be honest with you? So
still do both.
yeah, exactly. You can still do both. There's still enough time, isn't there, to be able to do both as well. So, yeah, they are my selections then ahead of the weekend action. So, a best of luck then to all of you with your own bets. And a big thank you to Dec and, of course, to Jamie for stepping in as well. And, Jamie, you're going to be back next week for the Grand National?
Yeah, and I'm going to be in the studio with you guys and bringing with me, therefore, a bag full of banter.
A bag full of banter. There you go. There is the promise. Something that you cannot resist, therefore. Next week's show, same time on Friday, to preview the Grand National at Aintree.